Part 3 of Claiming Crown Day is the grand finale. We're going to cap things off with races 10 and 11. Then we're going to have the late pick 5 hammer. So let's line them up. Hello, welcome to Billy Ho Sports. Shout out to David, our split the pot winner this week. He's already reached out to me, and that's what I appreciate about him. Only subscribers are eligible to win this risk-free contest. Three-step process. Step 1, click that subscribe button. Step 2, click on that thumbs up, hit that like button for me. Then to get your name in the draw, just drop a comment with any kind of, if you have any questions or you have any picks or hot takes whatsoever, and then you're off and running, as they say. So we're going to begin covering today's events. From yesterday's video, we're going to just kind of recap what we did in races 7, 8, and 9, which is the first three legs of the late pick 5. And then we're going to jump into those final two races. So if you watched the video yesterday, then you know what we did there. If you haven't, go check it out because it came together very nicely. Leg one of was race 7, and we went with the number 4 and the number 11. And then in leg 2, we got our single out of the way with number 4 Frosty View. So race 7 is 4 and 11. Race 8 is the 4 Frosty View. And we ended up going 4 deep in leg number 3, race 9. That is 7, 8, 11, and 12. So we're off and running. Now we polish off these last two races. Let's jump right into race number 10 and look at the contenders. Okay, race number 10 is going a mile and an eighth on the dirt. 3-year-olds and upward. Of course, this is at any time starting for 35,000 or less in 2024, 2025. Gilded Kraken kicks us off. Interesting looking 10-1 morning line. The connections look really good. Not so much on the win tip, though. They haven't hooked up very well in the last couple of months, actually, now that I look at it. 7% in 30 starts. Not too good for those guys. But it is Joe Sharp. It is Jose Ortiz. This one figures to improve, returning to dirt. That was a really tough outing there coming off the Kentucky Downs victory. So he did close out 2024 with back-to-back route wins on the dirt at Churchill and Keeneland. July 12th, muddy Saratoga track went 9 furlongs, dominated by 8 lengths there, 92 speed figure. So this last effort, I went back and watched, you see highlighted, was some tough company. You see how fast the pace was, plus 16, plus 17. But they faced English Channel, Cameo Performance, and that third place finisher was Yenzer, who busted out and went loose on the lead. Through some very fast fractions, ultimately, obviously worn down. But the third place finisher, Cameo Performance, Gilded Kraken Ortiz had him on the rail up the gut, and was pretty much cut off by Cameo Performance, and then he was forced to steady, and obviously ended his chances there. But I'll give him a little bit of an excuse for that one, tough competition and whatnot. So I think this is a great bounce back spot for a lot of casual bettors who just look at that last outing and go, "Ooh, that wasn't very good." Number 2, Cadet Corps, is trained by Kelly Breen. We got Junior aboard, consistent runner since the claim. Win at Delaware, going a mile and 70. Laurel over this same trip. Last out in a restricted race, he flattened out. That was the 6th start off the layoff. So you can see all these good performances leading in, and then maybe that last race they just kind of went to the well a little bit too often on that last one. Maybe should have laid them off before that. So that's one of the reasons I'm going to pass on this one. I think coming off the layoff, maybe not going to be as sharp, and it is a poor win percentage for the trainer in that regard. Happy Strike is 20-1 morning line, earned his best figure in the last race at Prairie Meadows, going a mile on a very fast opening portion, closed even faster, held on by a head to make that the 4th straight win. Now coming over to Churchill Downs, which is a big difference in venue. So I think maybe just the added 1/8 of a mile might be just a little too much for the run happy gelding. Number 4, Overstatement. Also ran his best speed figure last out at Keeneland, going a mile and 16th, wins by a nose, gets a 92 speed figure for that one. Very nice. Added distance, I think, would actually be okay for this one due to the running style. You can see how he's closing up by a head and wins by a nose, fighting gamely late in the race, but the pace was a little bit on the slow side. So distance might be an issue, but I think it's got a better chance of getting there. But I'm not into either one of those. Alternate Reality is 15-1. This is Brian Hernandez and Joe Sharp. So one rainy day in June, they tried to take this one to the turf, but it got pulled in the slop and ran a monster 101 across the board. Good pace figures in a very contested race and closed to within a half length of the lead. Just got going a little bit too late, probably there, and then kind of tailed off for a couple of races. But then Joe Sharp takes over and immediately gets this one going again at Churchill. Goes a mile and misses by a head, then drops to seven at Keeneland and gets another second place finish. So adding blinkers for a little focus makes alternate reality, I think, a player at least for a share, I'd say. Now you got Wilaka, number six. Kelsey Danner trains this one. 8 starts at Churchill Downs, which we always look for that angle on Claiming Crown Day. Is the more experience on the surface, the better off you are. A pair of wins and a pair of thirds at the distance. So 8 starts at Churchill, got 2 wins and 2 thirds. That's pretty good. A pair of 90 plus speed figures in the last 2, one at Colonial, then the win at a mile, closing hard to get it done on a relatively moderate pace. So big 107 speed figure, then lays off coming in. So that one's another one you could probably take a look at in exotics. Really going to be some decision making going on. And these picks that I'll be giving you aren't maybe my final picks. They're just where I'm landing at now because it's just every one of these races is just loaded from top to bottom with horses, double digits, 12, 14 in almost every race. So it's really tough to get a good handicapping angle on every single one of them when there's 7 or 8 of them that have this type of experience like the 6 horse does. Now you got the number 7, Double Your Money, who I think is a good, strong win candidate. Nice 6-1 opening line odds for the number 1 in prime power, according to Brisnet. Had a big 102 speed figure, 2 back, very slow. You can see these last 2 paces were quite slow between Parks and Aqueduct, and was able to just get out there and hang out on the lead. Wasn't able to close in grade 3 company just versus better horses, but did get it done dropping down to allowance company. So best dirt speed, fastest among them all, and a sharp workout coming in. He's definitely a win candidate. Versatile enough to handle either pace scenario too. So sharp recent works. I like the ability to sustain the cruising speed on this one. So hard to go against. Number 8, Legree maybe improves returning to dirt. Worked out sharp coming in. Does have a few good statistics, decent anyway in the Rodriguez barn, but the speed figures are just okay. And there's just so many better that fit in this spot. So I'm going to pass. Carolo Rapido comes in closer 30-1. Ben Curtis for Eddie Kennelly. Several sub 90 efforts, but Kennelly picks up the horse and things might be looking in the right direction. His first effort, he went 9 furlongs at Ellis Park and was able to track one paced affair. Basically, for a closer is really tough. Got a 99 late pace figure, closing to within 3.5 lengths. So with any kind of pace, you're going to see an improvement. Plus, you got this nice 37% second after the claim. Now it's only 16 registered starts, but that's still nearly, what's that? 7 wins, 6 wins, maybe. Burning hot. Indeed, he is. Aptly named horse here. This one has been hot fire since coming over to Rohan Crichton. You can see just missed the 4-banger here. All good speed figures and all progressively moving up in the speed figure category, and then earns this nice 96 speed figure on the wire-to-wire win on a slightly slower pace, going a mile and an eighth. I love the back-to-back races at the distance. Luis Saez aboard, then takes a nice little 58-day freshening. So coming in here, Luis Saez aboard again. I think this race is basically set up. I think Crichton did a good job of going along here. So I think that he's going to be able to control the pace out front and have a chance to take it all the way again. So we'll see. Here's Dance Namo or Dance Samo winning the last race at Horseshoe Indy. Definite long shot though, 30-1. Uncle Mo Gelding could be useful, but I think his speed figures are just barely on par with the top. Too many mid 80s, high 70s for my taste. So we'll go to number 12, Navajo Warrior. 7-2 morning line for Saffy Joseph and Irad hooking up out here. This one's got a grinder's mentality and a strong form coming in with 5 straight wins, almost 7, 8. You could go all the way back to last October and look at that record. Just the 2 second place finishes preventing this one from running off a ton of great success. And mostly Santa Anita, a couple of turf efforts under Tim Yakteen. So Tim did a good job with this one. And then it goes to Saffy's barn, and we go out at a mile at Saratoga and wins by 4, banging it out, and then comes right back to win at a mile and a 16th, stretching out and showing a little bit different style, more off the pace, and closing well, so drove past the field in that one for the win. Hot Jockey, 25% trainer. Navajo Warrior got to go on the pick five ticket. So climbing the ladder on this one. Point Doom is the 13th horse. And Timothy Crashier gets Tyler Gaffleone aboard this one. Another one that's looking sharp coming in here off of a 1 mile win in the Appreciation Mile at Parks, and had a restricted effort win before that. So Governor Cup didn't fare so well at Penn on the turf, but that's forgivable. And you see the before the claim or the first after the claim was a nice effort going on Pennsylvania surface there. I don't know if I'm going to get to this one, but I like the trainer stats. 28% routes, 25% winner last out, 22% shipping, plus ITGAF in the irons. All points to really good success. And the trainer is actually the top, I think Penn National, he's the second ranked trainer there. So he's no stranger to success. Then you round out the field with American Law, which is an absolute toss. No 90 speed figures since Oaklawn. Jamie Torres, I've already been on record with how he's not a very good jockey, in my opinion. So we're going to go summarize race number 10 like this. Burning hot, baby, for the win. Number 10. I do have a trifecta. Sometimes I might just put exotics out because I'm not unsure, but I had so many spread, like 6 horses that I thought were worthy of exotics. I decided to make like a trifecta. So the top two horses are the 7 and the 10. So I put those on top, and then I went 7, 10, 12, 13 for the second part. And then the third part of the try is 1, 5, 6, 7, 12, 13. So that's not going to be a super expensive ticket for a 50-cent trifecta. And we are going 4 deep leg 4 because we can afford it. Like I told you in the first couple of legs, we didn't spend that much money, and we had a single in there. So we're going 7, 10, 12, 13. So I do like that whole second level that I mentioned in the trifecta. Now we move on to the nightcap, race 11, 8.5 on the turf. Let's take a look. Okay, we're going 8.5 on the turf. We're going to start off with the number 1 horse, Wertz Tramaniner. Sorry, that was a terrible pronunciation. I should have looked that up before I came on the show, but I thought I'd wing it just for fun anyway. But we've got this one in the one hole. I'll just call him this one. 3 straight turf efforts, pretty solid. 3-2-1. Big win at Horseshoe Indy, going a mile there. So this one lines up pretty good. Run a very fast paced race too. So you're going to see an inside trip coming from this one, firing out of the gate. I don't know how well he'll get there. It's going to be a tough inside post with that style. So we'll see how he does, but I don't think I'm going to make him on my ticket. And number 2 goes the Clown. This is one of 2 entries for Mike Maker. And I mentioned in a previous video how good Mike Maker, obviously all-time leading training crown, blah, blah, blah. But his most successful is the mile and a 16th turf, where he had quite significant wins. He picks up IRAD for this one. And this one is a presser. And I'm going to consider this one 1.5 miles on the turf for a prep, kind of like a stamina builder, because he's run all his races down here at a mile, 16th, mile 70, and there's nothing in the average win distance or anything to indicate marathon ability. So I think this was just a shot in the dark, see how he does. It will just get him a little tightened up for this race coming up. Mike Maker, he's not the all-time leading trainer in training crown or in claiming crown for nothing. He knows how to prepare his horses for this. So this one is going to be a nice one because it's the quote unquote other Maker horse. 10-1 morning line. Here is the main one, Risk Manager. This one gets TGAF aboard, and this one is a closer. So you're going to see both of those coming down the stretch late. Now, Goes the Clown might get first crack, so that could give him an advantage if the pace sets up right. But this other entry is a 7-year-old looking at Lucky, 3 straight, including a sharp win at Kentucky Downs, going 1 mile and 5/16. So came back and backed that up with another win. And if you recall me saying, the early speed dominated in that meet for the most part from what I saw. So to be able to close that kind of ground in the negative pace scenario for the win, that's strong. So he's definitely one, probably going to be a heavy favorite, and maybe a little bit too low for me to make a win bet with such a large field and unpredictability here. But he'll definitely be going on the ticket. Now you can single him if you want, and I know a lot of people just like to toss the favorite if you're not singling them, but I don't work like that. So Nan, Tastic Beach. This one, for some reason, got the highest Equibase figure, but 8-1 morning line. I certainly didn't see it here. I see the win at a mile at Churchill, running a fast pace, pulling away by two, which would definitely be significant if you're looking at it that way. Then he threw in a clunker on the most recently race, but you could see he's done that before. Rattle off a few wins, throws in a clunker. Rattle off a few wins, throws in a clunker. So if you play patterns, he's up for the upswing. But off 4 months, Julian Leparoux, hard to endorse for me. Too many better. Stroke of Midnight, Ben Curtis gets the mount on this one, who does most of the work recently on the all weather. Does have a 7.5 furlong victory at Gulfstream right there by a nose. But I don't think I'm going to get there with this one. Most of the races being on synthetic and off for 2 months. The speed figures look just a little shy for me. So we'll move on to the number 6. And I heard some talk about this one, but I didn't like the figures on this one either. When you got a stone closer and you're getting a pace setup like that, and you can't get within, and you can't hit the board, then that's probably a red flag. Now, he did hit the board in this one, but that was against probably a weaker company, and he was almost 58-1. So I'm passing on that one. The Zoe and Mr. Abario is Safi Joseph and Jose hook up for this one. Last out going a mile. Last out going 1 mile at Gulfstream. Really never engaged in the race. So I'm willing to forgive that one. I think that the back-to-back wins on the inner turf at Colonial previous to that prove he's got something, and then the 2 7.5 efforts, a win and a nose loss before that. So all those previous races tell me that I think that Safi can bounce back big time off this sharp workout. So this one is definitely a good bounce back candidate to use in your exotics. Number 8, Grounded, another one that is a possible exotics play and probably should tick up from the 6-1. Lots of all weather racing, a couple of turf efforts, almost got the nose victory at Tampa going back here. But back-to-back stakes appearances for 100, 150, pretty classy there, a win in a second on the all weather. So when it's really hard to judge these when they say moving up in class, ran second versus similar, because the company doesn't match. I mean, this is like what is it? An $8,000 allowance. That's the conditions. So none of these horses should be moving up in class. So that's just something that I noticed about these Brisnet comments. Anyway, I'm not going to get there on Grounded. I think he would be a good exotics use, and I think I might actually land on it. Actually, I think when I look back on it, those two efforts against stakes competition, I think are classier. So I guess maybe we'll take run second versus similar as a drop in class. But Echo Lane looks like a strong win candidate for me. I think Rohan Crichton has set this one up. 26% beaten favorite, sharp workout. Louis Saez aboard. So it just everything sets up for this one. 3-1 second choice. Luis Saez, multiple mounts on this with much success, going all the way up, cashing checks and breaking necks. There you go, right there. Couple of CD efforts coming in at similar distances, missed by a neck, wins by a neck at the same conditions. So this just all sign me up for the win. Okay, I'm losing my train of thought. King Curlin is number 10, sports the highest last race speed rating. Ellis Park went 1.25 miles, so this is a cutback. Definitely never got into the race there, so maybe the 1.125 is better because you got the win here, or 1.16 because you got some good effort going a mile and an eighth there. But I'm not going to get there on that one. Bit of a stretch for me. Swiss Slang is a closer, running on both dirt and the all weather leading in. Does have a few turf efforts in the past, but neither one of those were very successful. It would need a perfect trip and a perfect pace setup to even hit the board, in my opinion. So I'm going to pass on that one. This one, Calic, I've seen in races. I thought, I didn't look back far enough, but I think I covered this one down here. Terrible outing in the grade 2 effort, but this does have a win last out going a mile on the turf. New trainer, obviously gets the big monster one for one plus 30 because 15 times 2, so big ROI on that one. But I'm not going to get there on Calic. I tried to, but I'm going to lean against. So that's going to wrap up our coverage for Claiming Crown week. Be sure to check back tomorrow morning for any post scratch adjustments, especially in these races where large fields, like I mentioned before, all it takes is one or two scratches and we always get them. So definitely one. So if you look back at that race, the very first one in Protonic Power has a couple of good recent results on turf at Hawthorne you might take a look at. But likely a very chalky finale with the two best, the number 3 Risk Manager and number 9 Echo Lane. I'd still include Maker's other runner. Number 2 goes to Clown on the ticket, and that's the two. But I'm going to go Echo Lane for the upset, the Maker upset. I think Maker gets one of those two turf races, but I think the previous one from yesterday's video is the one he's going to win. But he could very well win this one, and he could win it with either the 2 or the 3. So I'm going to try. I'm going to try a trifecta key box. So key box means if you're 101 here, I'm going to take the number 9 that's going to finish either first, second, or third when you key box, and then you're underneath horses. So it kind of makes a 4-way, like the 3, 5, 8, 9 is who I'm using underneath. So that's going to cost like $18 for a 50-cent ticket, or $9. I can't remember the difference between the two. I think with 3 it's $9, with 4 it's 18. So it jumps exponentially as you add that extra horse because of the 3 different placings. So leg 5, we are going to go with the 2 Maker horses and Echo Lane. So that's 239 for leg 5. The pick 5 ticket will look like this. Leg 1, 411. Leg 2, single the 4. Leg 3, spreading 4 deep, 7, 8, 11, 12. Going 4 deep again in leg 4, 7, 10, 12, 13. Then we're going to go 239 for leg 5. That's a $48, 50-cent pick 5 ticket. Very reasonable price. I appreciate everybody joining me for this 3-part series. I thought the way I broke it up worked out really well. Final video drops on Friday, gives you something to look at over dinner tonight and beyond, getting all your capping information together. So spread the word on the video, and let's get these subscribers going. We're just struggling to get anywhere close to that 3,500 subscriber mark. And when we do that, we are going to do a $35 split the pot draw. So that's some incentive for all you guys out there, just to maybe go touch base with a friend or two and say, go subscribe to Billy Ho Sports real quick for me. And you'll be helping him out and you're helping me out. So click that like button on your way out. Obviously, subscribing to the channel makes you eligible for future draws. And hopefully we make a little money this weekend. We got a unique opportunity on a unique race day. I enjoy bringing it to you, and we'll see you soon.